Hey guys, welcome to Crypto Talk Now live with Max and Larry. We have a really strong show for you tonight. We have so many great things to talk to you about, and a couple of things I wanted to address that I'm not happy with. I'm happy that you're here spending the next hour and a half with us. We have a jam-packed show. We also have a little later in the show, KryptoKEEF is coming on to talk about HEX, and I have some really good news to share with you guys. Let me just bring down this one banner so I can see Max a little bit. Sorry, Max. But before we get started, guys, why don't we say hello to Max? Max, how are you doing tonight?
I had to scramble to even get on here. As Larry would say, my internet connection got rugged. My cable modem completely died. So a week ago, it was or 2 weeks ago, it was the Wi-Fi. It didn't work, period. And then it went broadcast the signal, nothing. And then out of nowhere, it was my hard connection. Died last night. I was going to make a video last night on quite a few things, or two things, I should say, not quite a few. And it just absolutely died. And then I had to go out and get a new modem today. And that was quite the ordeal. Anyway.
Well, it's maybe internet issues are contagious. Max and I don't live anywhere near each other. We live clear across the country from each other. I will say this, that I had internet issues. I had Spectrum come out today. They were scheduled between 5 and 6, and they came out. I'm grateful they came out. But I'm having issues with like StreamYard. There's something where on the playback. So you guys let me know in the comment section. Are you able to go in after the stream and play back the stream, or is it lagging? So I talked to the guy. He replaced my modem again and also my Wi-Fi router, whatever it's called. There's two boxes. And so he did that. And then I've been in touch with another YouTuber I'll talk about a little later. And that person has helped me a lot. And we might switch over. I'm going to look at Streamlabs and also Prism. So I have my friend Johan, who's my tech guy too. He's a friend of mine. He's coming in tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get a better quality stream for you guys on the playback. So yeah, so internet issues. It's so crucial for Max and I to make sure we have the proper internet because we want to deliver you a show every night that gets better and better. So also,
I was literally about to hit the east side of the LBC and hook up my Wi-Fi at some random place now. But if it came to that, I would have done it.
So welcome to Cody Core. And Cody Core, that reminds me, thank you. I think you were at our earlier show. We have another show that we just established. It's at 3 p.m. We're just going to call that show for now, Crypto Talk Now Live. We had a special guest on, Maria, and we talked a lot about the metaverse. If you guys missed that show, go back and watch it. But we are going to mention a couple things before KryptoKEEF comes on because I want to actually get Max's opinion on them because I'm excited about it. But before I do that, guys, I have to go on a little bit of a rant. And Max is going to have to bear with me because I might dominate this a little bit, but I'll get his input. So here's the thing, guys. So welcome once again, Cody Core, and anybody else that has joined us.
Yes,
I kind of wanted,
everybody.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of wait for a little more people to come in here, but I guess this is a good a time as anything to go over and just maybe kind of talk about the overall market, and we'll play a little bit of the guessing game, and then I'll go into my rant later because it's important. I think it's a learning thing for people to hear. Okay, so Max, now I'm trying to remember what the heck I did. Oh, yes. If you weren't paying attention to me on Twitter, now don't cheat. Don't go look at Twitter now. What did I buy today? There was only one thing that I bought.
Sorry, man. I already saw that announcement like last night or this morning.
You already read it? Ah, shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
So earlier this morning, I guess if anybody wants to guess in the comment section, there's only really Cody here, I think. And one other person. Cody, if you want to guess, you can go right ahead, but I'm just going to disclose to everybody. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with KryptoKEEF that's coming on a little later today. So it was actually HEX. So I bought HEX. So the story with HEX is this. I actually like HEX. I made some money with Shiba Adventure version 1. I took that profit. I rolled it into HEX at like around 10 cents. And then I cashed out quickly a few days later. Maybe it might have even been 2 days later at like 13 cents, just because I just wanted to lock in some more profit. But I always said to myself, when it gets down to around 10 cents, I'm going to buy again. And I think I bought it at like 10.6 cents. So I know that your eyes, Cody Core's talking about Volt. I know that your eyes are opened with HEX too. I think you were impressed with it. Definitely, Max. Did you happen to pick up a bag of it or not yet of HEX?
No, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to get into it. For me, it's just I had a lot of unexpected expenses. One, my radiator has gone out in the car. Two, the cable modem. Three, the air conditioner.
Oh man,
So it's
okay.
just, some people might have that too. Well, we'll cash out some of your crypto. Not in this market. No. So with that said, yes, I am looking to get in the hex. And I'm probably going to get into it. I don't know, maybe the beginning of June, probably.
Beginning of June. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
You know
gonna
how it
wait and
goes.
see.
Like you got bills to pay, and then after the bills are paid, even top influencers do this. They pay out their bills, and what you got left, then you get into whatever you are impressed with. So I'm probably gonna get. I should say probably. I am gonna get into Hex, and who knows? Maybe I'll luck out, and instead of it being 10 cents, it'll be 9, and get a nice little bag of that. So
Yeah. I understand definitely where you're coming from about not liquidating your position because, well, with several of them, because just about everything in the last few months has been
oh
down.
yeah,
So
it'd be
yeah,
very unwise for me to do that. I mean, I'm not gonna do that.
I did cut my losses on a few that were just low cap meme tokens that I just wanted to shift over into the top 100, but that was just like a personal choice. But I do understand you wanted to stick with a lot of the ones that are down. I mean, pretty much everyone's portfolio is down. So let's jump over to Selmo Fudd says, "Hey Max and Larry, and thank you Selmo Fudd. I saw you on the earlier show at 3 o'clock. Really appreciate that."
Sell more foot into his house.
Selmo Fudd is here. Okay, so now I'm going to go on my little bit of a rant. So my little bit of a rant, I hate to really do this. I've been debating about whether I should do this or whether I should even talk about this because I don't want to hurt the project, and I don't think that I'm a big enough influencer to hurt the project. But I do want to talk about Terrarium. So the story behind Terrarium is this: I got into Terrarium on day one of launch. Day one, I think it was February 20 something, 22nd, 21, something like that. I was in there on launch. I did not know about the pre-sale. I know that there were other influencers that got on into the pre-sale, but I just consider myself one of the original ones that got in on Terrarium. So I was there in the beginning when there weren't very many holders. I mean, the only way I could have gotten in sooner is if I was part of the pre-sale. And if I knew about the pre-sale, I more than likely would have gotten into it then. So I believe in the project. I purchased it, like I said, right on launch. And then after that, I went in and purchased it probably 2 or 3 other times. So I added to my bag. So I think, yeah, 3 other times. So overall, I'm down like most things, but I hung on. That wasn't one of the low caps that I sold off. So I want to kind of test the power. And if people are watching this afterwards on the record, I want to test the power of the Crypto Talk army because I realize that I'm not strong enough on my own, just one voice to get accomplished. So if I have problems with somebody in the real world, all I have to do is just pick up the phone and talk to them on the phone. Or I could like try to arrange a time to meet with them face to face and we can have a civil discussion about something I don't agree with. But when it comes to the crypto world, a lot of times the way to get in touch with these projects is to directly talk with them through Telegram. Like that's really the only way. That's the only method of communication. So I won't hold up people too much with this point, but my point is, again, I think a lot of these telegrams are poorly run and they need to be cleaned up because I had never been in their Telegram group before. And I simply wanted to connect with the community to be more involved, to try to help promote this project. And not for money or anything like that, just to try to help connect and gain some support, give some support on my end and from the show and Max and I from the show, and then also get some support from the community. So back and forth. So it said that I'm not allowed basically to the administrators have restricted me from this. So I'm thinking it's some sort of an error. So before that, the first thing I did was actually contact, I won't mention the name of the person, but one of the members of the team I reached out to on Twitter and I did not get a response. And then I'm going to go over here and show you guys. I did this tweet because I don't have any other way to communicate. The only way I can communicate is through you guys or through Twitter or through this show. So this is the only platforms I have. So I just said, hello at Terrarium. I think there may be a problem because I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. With your Telegram group, it says the group admins have restricted me from commenting in the group. I just tried to join. Please fix this as I would like to connect with the Terra community. I have been an investor since day one launch. I know it's not perfect grammar, but there's not very many characters. Elon Musk needs to add a few more characters if he takes over. But my point being is this. I know I'm going on a long rant here. I have no way of communicating with the team. I believe as an investor, a pretty significant investor on day one and then adding to my bag, I believe that I should have some level of access. And to be restricted from never even being in the group before just kind of tells me in the beginning there's one or two things. Either I'm being targeted and excluded, because even like when I came out and criticized constructively Phantom, they actually the next day went in and reversed that so I could get in. So I have never been critical. I've been nothing but giving Terrarium praise. I have retweeted several tweets. I've made some really nice posts and tweets myself. I have only had positive things to say about everyone on that team. I've had faith, even gave them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to show you this chart right here. So I got in over here, right? But, you know, when they had this crazy thing happen where I think they got scammed, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. A lot of people didn't do that. They had the Binance US thing, and then they announced it on Twitter. So I've been very, very fair with them. So for them to intentionally block me, or for 7 hours intentionally ignore me on Twitter, and also I messaged that person on Telegram to be ignored, I'm starting to think it could be intentional. But again, I'm still going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it shouldn't take 7 or 8 hours to get back to somebody that has a YouTube channel, or more importantly, forget my YouTube channel, just that I'm like a good investor. I should be allowed to communicate with someone, right? So at least be able to communicate with a mod from the community. Max, what's your thoughts on this overall?
My thoughts is that is not the way to go about things. You know, at the end of the day, we only have so much that's in front of us when it comes to community links and so on. Especially when it comes to reaching out to anybody from marketing or, you know, brand awareness, anything like that. So for me, typically, you know, I do like what you do. For instance, you know, I'll try to see if it's a CMO I'm trying to get a hold of. For people who don't know what that means, Chief Marketing Officer. I first look into those type of things, and then I say to myself, all right, does the CMO have help? Is there a person under the CMO? Things like that. Realize at the end of the day, maybe, you know, the CMO doesn't want to be contacted. They're just listed. And if those things aren't listed in their community links, like with CMC or directly on the website, then I have to take other avenues. I have to, you know, reach out to Telegram. And typically speaking, if they have a Telegram, that's what the Telegram is there for. It's a community chat site for those who aren't really using that. You know, to do what? Build community, talk with other people from the community. So I mean, that is the general gist of things, whether it's crypto or not. That's just the way people look at Telegram. And so if you go in and they basically give you a Will Smith to, you know, Chris Rock slap, right?
Yeah.
That is reflective on their brand, and everybody else
get in. Yeah.
Right.
No,
and everybody else basically sees that, and it just leaves a real bad taste in your mouth, especially if you covered any content, which you have.
Yeah.
And I kind of look at it like me and Teddy Doge. I covered Teddy Doge twice. I even got subscribers from it, decent amount of views. What if a few of those subscribers put in a decent position? And what if they one of those decent positions was a whale who invested? They don't know these things.
Exactly.
And
I'm going to interrupt you real quick, Max.
Yeah.
I just want to make one quick comment, because you're like reading my mind right now, and I totally forgot about something. I also made, I think, 3 videos for Terrarium, totally free on this channel, just because I believed in the project and I want to help my investment and the people. I wanted to expose the people to this channel, our subscribers, our viewers, and I know 2 of them personally that are invested in Terrarium just from me talking about it on the channel, even before I knew you, Max. But yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but go ahead. I just wanted to make that point.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the way I also look at it is, like, for instance, this is your example with Terrarium, your bad experience. I shared a course in the past, and now my bad experience with Teddy Doge. Both projects are good projects, but moving forward, I decided not to cover Teddy Doge anymore, because for one, I feel as though, you know, for the reasons I just mentioned, it's just very unprofessional. Some people might have the attitude, wow, you know, you should get into it and so on. I don't care if it's the greatest thing since sliced bread at this point. There's other great projects out there. I don't need to cover them anymore.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had that experience with, I believe you said Teddy Doge. I remember you saying that the other day too. And, you know, this is the point I'm trying to make. So anybody that's watching me right now that's in these different groups, I don't care if you're from Terrarium or what you're with, pay attention to your darn Telegram groups, because sometimes that is the point of entry. That is the only place that people have access. There's no 1-800 hotline number to call when you're having a concern about your investment. There's no 800 number to call when you want to talk to somebody about some ideas to move your investment forward. There's nobody to contact. The Telegram group is where it starts, or it starts with Twitter, like messaging people on Twitter. So be prepared to have a professional mindset or a professional portrayal of your product. Your product is this supposed centralized exchange that we're looking forward to. Like, I was really passionate and excited and fired up because I got emotionally involved with Terra. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be the next one that I'm going to get behind. It was Saitama before, and I was, critical of Saitama when they screwed up. I did it in a respectful manner, and I'm going to just come out right now because I have to be real with this stuff. I can't just sugarcoat it any other way. But you guys cannot shoot yourselves in the foot. If any project is watching me out there, make sure you educate the people in your Telegram groups and the people that are in charge of your marketing and the people that are in charge of your PR, and make sure you have a way for people to contact you when they have either concerns or they just want to connect with the community because they want to try to move things forward. Like, I didn't even have a concern, but I'm going to come on the show every single night and beat the drum until I until I virtually, with my new avatar, walk into the Telegram group and go inside there, and I'm allowed to say good morning. That's all I wanted to do, is say good morning, family. How are you? I always, like, anything I'm invested in a Telegram group, I start out by saying usually good morning, family. How is everyone doing? Because I consider us part of a family. Anybody that's investing in these tokens are like angel investors. These are like startup companies. So I get passionate about this. And for me to make 3 videos for free tells you something, because I'm not going to be doing that anymore. And I'm just simply trying to connect with the community to further this project, because I believe they have a chance of getting a centralized exchange. But, they don't need to be, I don't know if I'm necessarily being targeted. I don't think that's the case. But I think right now what you're seeing is they're being sloppy. They're being sloppy with their Telegram. They're being sloppy with their Twitter. There should be somebody that's manning those platforms. So when somebody has a question or a message, there should be somebody. It doesn't take 7 or 8 hours to respond to a Telegram or a Twitter message, or you don't automatically lock someone out. What do you have to hide? Why would you automatically lock people out from your Telegram groups? All right, I'm going to shut up and listen to Max, because I'm going to get a little bit too excited here. But Max,
no, it's all right. I mean, again, it's the whole thing of like the cancel culture type mentality. I hate to throw that out there, but that's the way I look at it. It's literally, they look at you as being a potential shiller or whatever it is. It's still canceling a person out. You don't want to hear the point of view. You only want to hear things when it's going your way. And another thing I want to throw out there is this: future AMAs, I don't care what project it is. I don't care if it's large market cap coins and tokens, right? I don't care if it's low market cap. I don't care what community it is, crypto or anything for that matter. If you're going to have an AMA, we're going to hold you more accountable now. We're going to say, we're going to point out some of these things that we just mentioned. And that is, look, this is a problem. We're not saying that you guys as this new project are having this problem, or you guys as this established project has this problem, right? There's quite a few that have done quite a few AMAs and so on. But we're going to say, moving forward, this is what's going on in this space. We're sick and tired of it. Not just us, but I'm sure there's other people who probably watch us who don't like that, because at the end of the day, they realize, yeah, we're influencers, but how would they like to be treated that way? You don't know who is a whale and who isn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they're a whale. It doesn't matter if they're just a guy who, is barely making ends meet, but he's trying to like benefit his, improve or, get to the next step. The point is, people want to be treated a certain way. That's absolute nonsense. And a lot of those places, they're not just, a project. They might be like an LLC, a company. Really? That's the way you want to handle or conduct yourself with a business? I'm done ranting about it too.
Now, again, this is not a shot at the team. I'm going to just go full bore, like full in, right into the Telegram. I'm kind of like just hitting them in their weakest point, because I actually like this project because of the professionalism that the team displays. Okay, I believe there's 3 doctors. I'm not going to name their names. You know who they are, and there's one of them is a pilot. Okay, so I have some faith in this team because I see how they operate. I've attended their AMAs on other YouTube channels. like Crypto Stacker and Awesome Austin. And I think the way they conduct themselves is really good. So I'm here to light the fire because this is my investment. At the end of the day, whether I'm on YouTube or not, these are my dollars that are invested. And I'm a voice for the people. I'm a voice for whatever you want to call us, the Crypto Talk Army or whatever it is. We're very, very small. We have a very small audience right now. This is only our 25th show, right? Max and I have done 25 shows in a row. But I will tell you this. I get daily messages from people that are actively engaged in this show, that are actively invested in some of the things that Max or I are invested in, and they care about their investment. So I have to speak. But I'm calling on you. I'm imploring all of you to join together with me, or maybe not me, join together with yourselves, appoint a leader if you have to, go into these Telegram groups and make sure that you know and make sure that they know that we want to be heard, that we want to connect with these communities that we're invested in, because I have a right to connect with this team or with this community, even if it's just a mod. I have a right to do that because I care about my investments.
You're going to be busting out the old school like hip hop here soon. You could be like Flavor Flav and Chuck D from Public Enemy. You'd be like, fight the powers that be, you know?
There you go. Fight the powers that be. So again, this is, I would have never made a video. I would have never made 3 videos for this team for free if I didn't believe, anybody from the Terrarian community is welcome to come on this show for free. There is no charge. If you guys want to leave super chats or donations, that's fine. You can, or you don't have to. I don't really care. But I want to do my part. First of all, I want questions answered for myself. And I don't know if Max has any. I mean, if he does, that's great. We want to understand more about the project ourselves on this show for the benefit of not only myself that's invested, but others that are invested. Like, for example, I don't believe that Max is invested in this, but he has a vested interest because there's people in this audience that are invested in it besides myself. So he's going to want to be an advocate. But we need you guys to go into the Telegram groups. There's another one. There's such a small token right now. I can't even remember the name of it. Rolodex or whatever it is. But Common Sense wanted, to bring them on the show, or wanted me to have him on the show. He's the OG of this channel, the first member. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I messaged them. They did message me back. I said, look, guys, you can come on Monday or Tuesday. This was this past Monday or Tuesday. I never heard back from them. It's a lot of it is communication. The people, if you look at people that are very successful in life, like like the people that are like super successful, like CEOs of major corporations, you want to know the number one thing that separates them from just the average employee or the average small business owner? It's actually communication. If you look at those guys or those ladies, they're always top communicators.
It's a two-way street, as the saying goes.
Right. So let's back up and recognize. I went on my rant here and I didn't really recognize too many people here. What's up, guys? How are you feeling about Shiba Inu? I'm just going to read them all out, and then we can pick which ones we want to respond to. Shiba's going to the moon. Did you watch Ready Play? Yeah, I'm going to show Max Ready Play in just a few seconds here. Good movie. Great film. Yeah, I didn't watch Ready Play.
You're going to show me.
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something.
Cody Core, you haven't seen it, so.
I haven't seen the movie. Oh, okay. I'm actually going to show you the token. I got confused here. All right, enough about Terrarium. They're getting too much of the airtime on here. Guys, you know what to do. Go into the Telegram group. Go onto Twitter. Get them to come on the show, or get them to at least open their Telegram group up to me so I can just say hello and good morning to everyone. All right, so I'm going to go over to Max. I got to really show you this before KryptoKEEF comes on. So which is the one here? So this one here, Ready Player Me. I'll show you that real fast. So this one here, you make an avatar. But then this one here, this one is going to actually pay influencers. So influencers can have these different houses, like they call them meta huts, and you can have land and you can earn money. And this is like another metaverse play. I'm not going to put you on the spot here. I don't think you've heard of this one. Have you heard of it?
No, I'm going to look into it though, because you know me, I mean, I like metaverse related, projects.
So this one here has got a big time team behind it. Let me just click on their team. It's called metafluence.com if you guys want to check it out. And here's their team here. They have like a really extensive team of people. So this is like a big, huge project. So if you guys want to learn more about it, you can go and watch the 3 o'clock.
Oh my goodness, Dark Web Zuckerberg.
Huh?
So that's what he looks like.
Oh, Zuckerberg?
I'm just kidding. Dark Web Zuckerberg or Dark Web
Oh, you mean the Phantom Project? Yeah,
Yeah,
they kind of ghosted everything. Yeah.
yeah. You don't really see any of those dark web Zuckerbergs here. Anyway,
No, no, these are real people. That's the one thing that really pisses me off. Cody Core says, I will get back with you and never does. Man, pisses me off many times. Yeah, I agree with you. The communication is key, guys, because, it's not just me. It's not just my investment. Like, they're just throwing away potential investors. Like, this is not like these subscribers to this channel are not bots. These are like real people that are engaged. Like, these people that watch this channel really actually invest in crypto. Like it's like a real thing. Like I know that because they message me on Twitter and Telegram and they're constantly communicating. I've talked to a couple of them on the phone. Anybody's welcome to, if anybody wants to actually call me on the phone, just reach out to me. I'll give you my phone number. Like I really don't care. I'll talk to anybody. If you want to call me up and scream at me, have at it. Anything you want to say, good, bad, or ugly, I'm for it. But yeah, so here's all their partners. I mean, I'm just really flying through this fast, Max. But what I'd like to do offline, I'll give you this one here. And because I know this is Hex's night. And then also this one here. Where is it? Yeah, this one right here. So Ready Player Me is really cool, Max, because you can actually make your own avatar. I did it. I did one and I posted it on Twitter. You just basically.
oh, you did.
Yeah, but it doesn't look anything like me. I just take a
See,
picture.
I put myself in the game back in the day. I actually made. Here's the thing. That was the beauty of like the early 2000s. You could like literally take a picture of yourself, make your own skins, not buying skins like they do in the games nowadays. Make your own skins, put them in. But yeah, I was in Medal of Honor Allied Assault. I had like a black leather jacket and the whole I had like the uniform and it was awesome.
Yeah, I guess this is the one that's related to the movie. What's the name of the movie they're saying? Ready Player One?
Yeah, Ready Player One.
Okay, so I guess this is kind of similar to the movie, maybe? I don't know. ReadyPlayer.me.
Yeah, they can't just call it Ready Player One because, copyright stuff. But, people get the gist,
So you think this is like a spin, kind of like something similar to the movie then, this Ready Player Me?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, there's going to be all sorts of different metaverse platforms, and I get it. It's not all about the graphics and so on. But another one that I'm looking into, I'm not going to state what it is yet because I need to further look into it. But there's a few ones that have they're considered realistic metaverses, I guess you could say, and they just look really, really impressive. If you guys know about ray tracing technology, it's just, man, some of the stuff that they can do is just amazing. I mean, graphically speaking.
Yeah, and the graphics on this one look really good too. I just found it funny. Let me see if it's right here.
Yeah, they look all right, but I mean, that's more of like animated. I'm talking about like photorealistic. And the example I want to make with that is like if you ever seen the movie Pearl Harbor, at the time, and even I think even now, like there's only like one or two Japanese Mitsubishi Zero airplanes in the entire world. So it's like, well, how do you pull off like a scene of the attack on Pearl Harbor with 300 plus planes? You use what they call ray tracing technology. You take an image in front of you and then they retrace it and then they duplicate the image like by like 10,000. And then to the naked eye, when that thing rotates, it looks photorealistic. Back in the early 2000s, so like that movie came out in 2001. Back in the early 2000s, that technology was only available to Hollywood big budget studios, right? Hence, like Pearl Harbor. In recent years, they have graphic cards, like NVIDIA and so on, RTX graphic cards, in which you have that technology is now available to the average consumer, like gamers and so on. So they come a long way, man.
So this is supposed to be me. I took a picture of myself. It's really super simple. All it is, you just click a button and it says, can I have access to your camera or whatever it says? And then I click yes. And then you just click another button. It snaps a picture and it comes up with this. I don't think this looks like me, but at first it had me dressed up like a weirdo. Like I just wanted something like with a normal t-shirt. Here's like a nice little polo shirt or whatever. First, it had me dressed in this weird vest and like this weird hat. And I was like, I had to like search for a something more realistic. Like I wish it was a Bitcoin hat. Of course, if anybody wants to make me a custom, I guess, avatar, if anybody's an artist, that'd be kind of cool. If you want to make one of me, maybe one of Max. But they, of course, didn't have a Bitcoin hat. But this was like the closest thing. But the face is like, I don't know how you can duplicate somebody's face, but like the beard is a little off. I mean, it is kind of cool though, but it just doesn't look like me. But it's close, I guess. So it was kind of cool.
It kind of looks like it, but not
Kind of.
really. Yeah.
Not really. Oh, I hear the little beep. So backstage we have KryptoKEEF. I'm not going to bring him on yet until you guys smash the like button. So guys, do me a favor and smash the like button. I'm going to wait till everybody does that. Hopefully you did. I'm not even looking at YouTube right now. I'm looking at StreamYard. All right. So I'm going to bring up KryptoKEEF. If you're ready to come on, just shake your head. Yes. All right. He gave me the thumbs up. All right. He's coming on. Sorry for my rant.
What's up, guys?
KryptoKEEF, how's it going?
Good. What is going on, y'all?
It's good to have you
Doing
back.
All right, man. Actually, kind of had a little bit of a setback today. Y'all ever had one of those days where you just can't win? Like, it's out of your hands, and like I was supposed to get a commission check. I was supposed to get a commission check tomorrow.
I hate that too. I don't like it when
something going on.
Somebody says to me, they'll get back with me, and they never do. You know what really irks me? If somebody's gonna meet up with me, and they're like, yeah, I'm a half an hour away.
Hang on one second, guys. I think we're having some connection issues. I will be right back.
Okay. I mean, I'm a half an hour away, and then half an hour comes, and then they're like, oh yeah, I'm like 20 minutes away. You said you're half an hour away. Well,
you're breaking up really bad for me, brother.
I'm gonna see what's also going on here.
Like it's chopped up. I can't. It's all like choppy. I can't hear anything you're saying. My bad.
States.
All right. So is your connection okay? I know Max is a little bit glitchy right now, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay in my house. I'm having some issues as well. So
yeah, I can hear you, and I'm good. But Maximus Crypto is chopped up bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Max off and bring him back. Maybe bringing him back in when he's ready will work. But I'm sorry, KryptoKEEF. You were starting to say you had one of those days where it was like a rough day for you. What were you saying now? If you want to repeat it.
Yeah. I was just, like I'm kind of upset because I'm supposed to get this, commission check tomorrow, and our company made a mistake with payroll, so we're not getting it next week. Not the end of the world, except HEX is at 10 or okay, back up to 11 cents.
Yeah.
I'm going to be furious if it drops down and retests to 8 cents and I, don't have that extra dry powder to ape in, which is what I was planning on doing this weekend.
Yeah.
So little shitty there, but it's okay. You have bad things that happen to you that you get mad about, it's out of your control. What are you going to do? You're going to cry about it all day? No. Right. So you put a smile on your face, you move on. And that's what I had to do. And then I went to a tennis tournament. I was supposed to play in the tournament all day. I get there. The other guy who was supposed to sub, I was subbing for, he shows up. And they're like, oh, we don't need you anymore. I'm like, this is just one of those days.
Yeah. One of those days where you just want to go back to bed and just wake up the next day.
Yeah. I was just like, all right, can we just hit skip next chapter? Let's just go to tomorrow. But I did go to the gym and crushed an hour and a half, jump rope, burpees, weights after all that. So
that's good.
It was good.
Gym is good for
got the endorphins out, man. Got the endorphins going.
Yeah, that's good for your mental health. When you're having a rough day, nothing beats going to the gym or having like a good meal. But yeah, so I'll tell you something. So I was like, I don't know if you really pay attention to my little story. I had bought a small bag of HEX, 10 cents a while back. Just, I wanted to flip it. I believe in, I sold it for 13 cents. I do believe in HEX, like long term. Like I didn't do it the right way. Like I want to stake it. So I went back in this morning and bought some more HEX just so I could be ready for you and be a Hexican. I actually, the more I learn about it, the more I'll tell you, like the main thing I've been doing is I watch Richard Hart. Like before I even met you, I was watching Richard Hart on video, and I just believed in the type of stuff that he talks about. And you can tell he's like a super intelligent guy. He's very, charismatic. Some people don't like him because he might be a little flamboyant or whatever. But I mean, I like him. I think it's, it's funny. He's, he's intelligent. I think he's a marketing genius. So, I mean, for him alone, Now, I haven't gotten to the technical stuff. Like, it takes me a little longer to figure out everything that's staking and everything like that. But, from what I see from Richard, I really like what I'm seeing. And there's a lot of people in the Hex community, on YouTube and Twitter that are talking about, highly talking about this project, or sorry, this product, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the idea is with Hex, I mean, you're supposed to stake it, because why are you going to hold something if you're planning on holding, number one? So if you're holding something, why not earn yield for holding, right?
Right.
So if you just hold liquid Hex, like, you're subject to extreme volatility. Price of Hex goes up and down all the time. Right now it's a retracement, right, which is a great buying opportunity. But you're not earning any yield, and you're not, supporting the price of Hex, and you're not part of the staker class, right? So,
right.
Yeah, we have some Hex, but it's really, I mean, the name of the game is T shares, and if you, like I said, if you can't get yourself to T shares, you can get B shares, but you can still take a less amount of Hex and stake it for a longer period of time to get that T share equivalent. But ultimately, holding liquid Hex is a great start. But interacting with the staking protocol, and actually locking it up, you burn those tokens off the market forever. You're handed a T share, which is a receipt. And that receipt pays you daily Hex. You get a daily payout of Hex. Now, it doesn't go into your wallet every day. It's in the smart contract. It's a receipt, right? So when that stake ends, you get your principal, which is what you put in initially, plus the interest over time, which both have grown. And you receive your newly minted Hex. And now, in a perfect world, when your stake ends, the price of Hex has probably gone up since you first started that stake. And now you leveraged time, you monetize the value of time, right? You force yourself to delay gratification, because if you hold liquid Hex right now, let's say Hex goes to 51 cents next week, you're gonna be like, hell yeah, woohoo! And you're gonna be able to, what you might want to sell, and you can with liquid Hex, but you can't when you stake it. So it forces you, to not be weak-handed and paper-handed and sell at a 5 or 10, 25, 30x, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I would say, like, you guys got, we're like at the halfway point. We got Hex. Now we need to stake it. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying you have to.
But it makes the most sense, is what you're saying. Yeah, to stake it. Yep. Let me ask you this quick question. I think it's becoming like, a fun joke for the community. And again, I'm not really in the Hex community. I do want to kind of get involved, and learn more and talk to more people that are involved with Hex, because it seems like a welcoming community. But is it kind of like a joke that everybody's waiting for? They're really, really waiting for Pulsechain, and it's almost become like, not yet, a couple more weeks. But good things take time. Take time, obviously, to develop. Is that kind of like what's going on? There's a lot of buildup and anticipation for Pulsechain to come out.
Yeah, I mean, man, look, it's software is hard. I mean, especially this type of software, decentralized, immutable code. Richard designed Hex. Hex is a complete product. It's the only complete product in crypto. And he had initially started talking about it in 2017. It didn't launch till 2019. So, these things are hard. They take enormous sums of money and time and, creative input. The devs behind this thing are probably the best Ethereum devs out there. Right. And yeah, I mean, 2 more weeks, 2 more months there's no way to tell. It's just like, we've been waiting since July of last year when the sacrifice opened up. We all thought Pulsechain was launching in October. Right. Boy, were we wrong. But one of our biggest community members, Hexologist, he actually tweeted out earlier that, it's actually very impressive that we have a layer 1 blockchain and a decentralized exchange launching soon. And they have both been built in less than a year. So it's incredible. If you look at the rate of how this is developing and how this is coming along, like, yeah, it's remarkable, honestly. But yeah, I mean, it's launching soon. We don't know exactly when, but you better buy and stake Hex right now. Get your T-shares, because you're getting your T-shares copied over on the Pulse chain. So you'll have Ethereum T-shares and you'll have Pulse chain T-share. You'll have T-shares on Pulse, which is the nomenclature will be just T-shares, and then you'll have T-shares, right? Same thing with Hex. You'll have Hex, which will be on Pulse chain, and then you'll have Hex. That'll be the correct nomenclature.
Now, I know you've explained it before. We're going to bring Max on back in a second after this question. I know that you've explained it in the past, but for me, that's a little bit still confused about the whole thing. It's not that I'm not into Hex. It's just that it's to me, it's a complex thing. Explain to us what the T-shares are. Like, how does that work again, and what are they?
Yeah, so when you buy Hex on the market, you get those tokens in your wallet. When you stake Hex, you interact with the protocol. The contract is designed to burn your tokens, meaning that your tokens that you had in your wallet, when you stake them, they go and they move to the burn black hole address of crypto, the 0x0000 address, permanently gone off the market forever. And the system hands you a T-share, which is a receipt. It's a time receipt, basically, right?
Right.
And that T-share represents, your daily payout of Hex. So it represents the principal amount, which is what you put in initially. Say you put 1,000 Hex in, right? So it represents the 1,000 Hex in the future, and it gives you a daily payout every day. Right now, it's paying out a little over 6 Hex a day. Hex is at 10 cents, 11 cents, call it, 60 cents. You're earning, basically 60 cents a day right now, right? And when you get to the end of your period, your stake length, your term, right? You go in and you end the stake, and at that point, the contract will read the T-share and it'll say, okay, you've locked up your Hex this amount of time. The system owes you newly minted Hex, right? So it owes you your principal, which has grown, and also the daily payout of Hex, which is your interest. And then now you have newly minted Hex deposited into the same wallet that you started the stake with. And it's an incredible contract, man, because you're able to hedge inflation, right? Because the value of the dollar is going down. We know that. And this is a great way to earn yield, not in a traditional financial, setting, right? Fully decentralized, trustless yield. You can't buy Hex on a central exchange. You can't stake Hex. There is a way to do it directly on the blockchain, like right through Etherscan when you interact with the contract. I'm not that advanced yet. I actually want to learn how to do that. And I'm going to probably do a stream with one of my buddies and show people how to actually go to the contract address on Etherscan and actually directly interact with it versus right now you use a front end like go.hex.com or staker.app. There's also a few others, but those are just front ends that, make it easier for users to stake their Hex. Right. So yeah, does that kind of help answer your question?
Yeah, it does. And I just have this pulled up here, and I'll let Max jump in here. If you want to go over this, Max, and jump in, but I just like the concept. I'll just make a quick comment of the way that Hex kind of portrays it as kind of like the CD of the blockchain, the certificate of deposit, something that people in the real world that may not be used to or comfortable with crypto, understanding it, can relate to. They can relate to those certificate of deposits that, right now don't pay anything, but Hex, obviously does pay a nice yield. Max, let me give you a chance to jump in here. I know that we had some connection issues. I'm glad that you're back. If you want to jump in and comment on something, or if you have a question for our guest, KryptoKEEF here.
Well, first of all, hey, Keef, how's it going, man?
What's up, man? Sorry about that glitching. Glad you're back.
That's all right. I was joking with Larry on the text. I was like, Keef rugged my connection, though. I've been having issues, man. I had to get a new cable modem and all that. So I don't know. It's the network trying to recognize everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I actually missed. I do apologize for that, but nonetheless, I'm not going to even have a follow-up question right now because the way I look at it is I just caught the tail end of what you're just saying in regards to all that. Like, you know, I remember when you were on here previously, you were talking about, you know, how Hex is not on centralized exchanges. I actually saw some interviews with Richard Hart in regards to the reasons for that and so on. It makes sense. But I'm personally getting into Hex. I guess probably like sometime next week or so. I've had all these unexpected bills, AC going out, freaking cable modem, radiator things. So it's one of those things. But nonetheless, I've been impressed with Hex, and I'm looking forward to becoming a quote unquote Hexican. And so with that said, you know, the 38% APY on average, I mean, that's a pretty bold statement. I like that because for instance, I don't know if you're familiar with Hydra. You know, they had a statement not long ago. For instance, theirs was, I think, about 52%. I did a video on them not that long ago, but their commitment to the community was it's not going to drop below 20%. So when I see things like this, like, you know, 38% APY on average, I mean, it's just very appealing incentives for people, you know, who are on the fence about Hex or thinking about getting into it and so on. Just lots of great things. You want to tap back into this, Larry?
I just think, you know, I think the big thing with Hex, it just kind of starts with strong leadership from the top. I mean, you talk about somebody that I believe that Richard Hart's a billionaire, right? I mean, he's, you know, obviously successful with money.
No, speculate.
He's
he
not.
He could be worth, dude. He could be worth trillions. We'd have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know.
I know that he's worth at least 14 billion. That's crazy. That's insane.
He retired. Yeah, he retired when he was 24, I believe. I'm not sure, but he's definitely somebody that is successful. He's definitely somebody that's charismatic. He's definitely somebody that's intelligent. He's definitely somebody that knows how to do some really nice organic marketing and things like that, get people excited about things. I think it starts with that. You know, you start with somebody that's a strong leader, and it kind of forms a strong community under that. So I think that the two things, if you forget about, I mean, obviously if you want to call them tokenomics or the benefits of Hex as far as staking with the, you know, the T-shares and all the stuff that you're explaining, that those are all great things. But let's not also, from an outsider like me, that's, I guess, a new Hexican today, looking at this, I'm attracted to the fact that we have strong leadership, and there looks like there's a very strong community, and it's something that I would like to tap more into as far as that community goes, and you know, learn more about Hex and meet other people that are in it, and, you know, just keep pushing the product, not the project, forward.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's the thing about, the one thing I'll say is, like, okay, there really isn't any leadership required with Hex. Remember, it's immutable code. The smart contract is locked on the blockchain. Richard Hart could disappear right now, go away forever, and Hex would still run permanently on the Ethereum blockchain forever.
That's good, yeah.
So no other, you know, what other crypto has 100% uptime?
Right, and also the whole thing that was mentioned about, also the mentioning last time about he doesn't have the keys where, you know, if he goes away, everything is all, you know, everybody's screwed to a sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's no admin keys, you know, there's no, you know, it's immutable code, no admin keys. It's 100% uptime, meaning that, you know, it's run and it's performed exactly as it should, not from a price perspective, but from a contract fulfilling its obligations perspective, is done exactly what it's supposed to do for the last 2.5 years. So to me, you know, I look up to Richard Hart as a community leader. Yes. But do I need Richard Hart to buy and stake Hex today? No. In 15 years? No, because it's complete. It's complete code. It can't be changed. It can't be stopped. There's no need for anyone to manage it, you know?
Right.
So that's kind of, you know, that's for me, why it's like a big, you know, when I hear strong leadership, yes, I agree, but it's not a requirement to buy and stake Hex, because Hex is completely decentralized smart contract where the user interacts directly with the code. And there's no counterparty risk. There's no middleman. You're not dealing with a central bank, central exchange. You know, you're not relying on someone else to give you your yield, right? And that maybe hopefully one day you earn some money. Hex has proven time and time again that even through these price dips and these ups and downs, when those stakes end, Hex gets minted from the OA supply, gets sent to that wallet address just like it should. All of the numbers have checked out. I started a stake last year. I had a stake end. It was the coolest experience ever seeing that newly minted Hex in my wallet. I didn't make a ton of money, but you know what? I started with a certain amount of Hex, and by the time it ended, I had more Hex than when I started, and I did better than if that money had just set in a freaking bank account, in a checking account or savings where you're losing money, or maybe in an investment account. Oh, you put it into the stock market right now? How's the stock market doing? Everyone's getting smoked. Right. You think CDs are paying out anything close to 7%? No way.
No.
You think the S&P 500, you could beat the S&P 500 with your 4.5%? Maybe not a chance, especially not now with it being down 60-something, 68%.
Right.
In the last 2 years.
Let me ask you this quick question, because we had, and I believe you know who he is. We had Keith on here. We've had him on 2 or 3 times from CVC. I think you know Keith, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hex Sponsors is one of the sponsors, if not the only sponsor, on the website, which accurately ranks the position based on market cap, unlike Coin Market Cap. Like, why do you think that Coin Market Cap? I think I might know the answer, but I want to know what your opinion is. Why is it that Coin Market Cap cannot rank Hex in the top 100? I mean, do you have an idea? Or I'm sure you guys have talked about that before, the frustration with that.
Yeah, because CoinMarketCap is owned by CZ and Binance, and It's a direct competitor to everything that they're about. They don't own it. They can't control it. They can't manipulate the price of it. They can't use people as exit liquidity. They can't dump on people's heads. They didn't get it airdropped to them back in the day. And so because of that, they force the algorithms to, the algorithms, their own algorithms in their website actually want to list Hex at the correct place. They have to manually go in
and override it
back. They override.
Oh, man.
Right. There's been several times. Richard has tweeted this. Other people in my community have caught it and screenshotted it and tweeted it out like, oh, thanks for, so look, someone messed up. Someone's losing their job because Hex is ranked appropriately as number 6 or number 7. But they force it back to page 3 because they want to gatekeep it, because it's better than anything they've ever built. It's better than anything anyone's ever built. And it represents, a complete, flip of the script in terms of traditional banking, traditional finance, traditional investing. Like it breaks all of those rules. And money people don't understand, because they're like, CDs are, CDs and bonds, they have a economic energy. They have a value because they're diversified in all these funds, and there's a real investments going into it.
You sound like an old banker right now.
I was gonna say, it kind of sounds like Warren Buffett right now.
Yeah, because they don't understand how blockchain works, right? And how smart contracts work on the blockchain, right? And when you have a contract that is designed to provide yield to its staker class, and has a inflation cap of 3.69%, meaning that it'll never overinflate. They did an inflation cap at 3.69% to prevent inflation bugs, which, by the way, Bitcoin had 2 of them. The first one, God knows how many Bitcoin were created out of thin air. And then luckily enough, the second one was responsibly disclosed by one of the devs. So, they cap Hex at a 3.69% inflation. But that inflation is, newly minted Hex that is available in the market for purchasing and selling. So it is a, complex financial product. It's not for, the faint of heart, right? I mean, it takes some time to understand. You have to commit. If you're going to stake your Hex, you have to commit to that term length, or you will lose 50% of your principal and all the interest that you earn. So you get penalized heavily if you don't serve that term length, just like you would at a bank. If you go put $100,000 into a CD right now, and then 30 days later, you're like, oh shit, I don't know, that's not a good idea. you try to pull it out, you're going to get absolutely smoked. So,
I was going to ask you, sorry, Keith, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was going to actually ask you, unless it was already asked, and during the part where I wasn't on, and that is about the part about the inflation. So, for instance, I'm seeing where it says currently 38% APY on average versus an inflation rate of only 3.69%. I did see that thing about the commitment about the inflation rate, where it just briefly mentions the whole thing. Like, if we go over the current inflation rate or what Hex has it pegged to, if you guys go over that, there's some kind of commitment in regards to, I don't know, safeguard or whatever. If you could, is this ready covered, by the way? You guys ready to talk about this?
Yeah, you're cutting out pretty bad again. Just heads up. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Man. Yeah, I don't know what the heck's going on over
here. So, well, I think we
Am I still cutting out? Still cutting out? Damn.
It's like stuck. Maybe I'll take Max out and bring him back. He's kind of frozen. All right, so we rugged Max's connection, or he rugged himself. He'll come back. If I see him moving around in there a little bit more, and I know that he's alive, I'll push him back up. But he's digitally frozen. He's like cryogenically frozen right now in cyberspace. But let me. So I know Richard Hart likes to compare. Hex has outperformed Bitcoin and Ethereum. It seems like a lot of it is geared towards. The argument is towards Bitcoin. And I guess for people on the outside world that are not used to crypto, it's, Hex versus like a CD, which, Hex just blows away a CD.
Right.
I'm just trying to, in my mind, I'm wondering, to me, like I swapped Ethereum to buy Hex, right, this morning. So I'm thinking that, the one, because Bitcoin doesn't really do too much, right? It's more like a store of value. I'm thinking that the one that Hex can go after is Ethereum. Really, I think Hex. Am I wrong with that? Do you think Hex can eventually try to cut into Ethereum's market share?
It's not. It doesn't go after Ethereum. It requires Ethereum to run. And that's a layer one. And but Bitcoin is also a layer one. However, Bitcoin is inflated, meaning that new blocks. All the new, every block that gets created has to be validated by the network, the miners, right, who keep the general consensus network up. Now, with Bitcoin, that newly inflated Bitcoin gets rewarded to the miners, which you and I don't benefit from at all. We have to pay the miners and beg them to get our Bitcoin after they've already taken the majority. So Hex also inflates like Bitcoin. However, it is rewarded to the staker class for holding the price of Hex up instead of the miners, that you have to pay and beg to get your Bitcoin, right?
Right.
So, that's kind of the, inflation is a benefit to Hex, right? Not necessarily a cost, because the inflation is only paid out when the stakes are ended. Right. And there's a lot of stakes that are 15 years. There are a lot of stakes that are, over 5 years. And so, you can build up a lot of economic energy going in. And then over time, it gets paid out to the staker class when it gets newly minted, when those stakes end. Right. So Hex is really a better Bitcoin. Right. It does a better job of monetizing the value of time. You earn yield, right? So if you're, like I said earlier, if you're going to hold something long term because you believe that crypto is better than the dollar and you want number go up, right? Well, if you buy and hold Bitcoin, what do you get? Again, you're just subject to the price of Bitcoin. Maybe it'll go up. Right now, Bitcoin is down under 30K. People are getting smoked right now. Everyone's getting roasted. Plus, Bitcoin is, has a lot of correlations with the stock market and equities and stuff like that. So, there's a lot of rabbit holes there. But Hex is not correlated to any of that because it's pegged to a stablecoin USDC, which is pegged to the dollar. So it's not correlated.
Good thing it wasn't pegged to Terra Luna.
Yeah,
that's for sure, right?
Yeah, those guys, unfortunately, those poor souls are wrecked.
Yeah, no, I feel bad about that. I know, just kind of
ultra wrecked.
It's a sad thing for many people. I was just talking to Maria earlier on our 3 o'clock show, and she lost a good amount of money. I talked to her offline about it with Terra Luna. I bought in. I didn't have any Terra Luna before the crash. I bought in after the crash, but at this point, it was just a gamble, like a lottery ticket for me because of them going to V2. But yeah, so it's linked up to a stable coin. You said UDC?
USDC, yeah.
The USDC, okay.
Its primary pair is USDC. There's also an ETH pair in the liquidity pool, but the primary pair where you're going to get the least amount of slippage when you go and swap is USDC. So I always tell everyone, get your USDC from, put your money into Coinbase, buy USDC, send it out to your MetaMask, and then connect your MetaMask to Uniswap or Matcha.xyz and swap your USDC for HEX. That's where you're going to get the best ratio because that's the primary liquidity pair is HEX and USDC.
Okay. So they, the way I'm looking at the website here, it looks like they've got a lot of questions and stuff geared to people that are curious, maybe are kind of new to crypto, which is good, and some people that are critical, I guess, like the questions like, is it a scam and stuff like that? This is a funny one. How can I explain HEX to my mother? Stuff like that. Yeah. How can I explain HEX to a 5-year-old? But it looks like it's written in a way that it tries to include everybody, like no matter what your level of knowledge is of crypto, you can kind of get on board with HEX from what I'm seeing anyway on the website. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think one of my guys in the community even tweeted out earlier that, HEX is kind of like an IQ test, right? It's not something that, it at first glance, it is very, it is complex. There's a lot of moving parts with HEX, right? And it does take a little while to understand it. But, there's nothing else in crypto that satisfies the same contract, requirements that HEX does. There's other good stuff there too, but I mean, everyone thought Terra Luna was good. Look at it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Wreck went to zero.
Wrecked, yep.
I think there's multiple zeros. I think it went back up a little bit today, and then now it's down 98% again.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now I'm looking at the volume, and I'm probably going to answer my own question, but let's see if you agree or the answer more than I do. I'm guessing that the reason why the volume isn't huge is because people believe in HEX and they stake it. And is that why it's not like, a heavy amount of volume? Like, is that your thought on it, that there's not a lot of volume compared to the market cap because people are taking HEX and just hanging on to it? They're staking it.
Well, so trading volume recently has just been, 15. I mean, it did, there was a couple days ago, it spiked up to 38 million in 24 hours. But and if you compare it to the volume of ETH or Bitcoin, then it looks like nothing. But why is that? Well, there's only a couple 100,000 wallets that have it and know about it, right? It's on page 3 of CoinMarketCap.
Yeah.
Gate kept to the max, even though, technically, if you look at market cap numbers, it's the number 7 crypto. But market cap doesn't mean shit in crypto.
Yeah. It
doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry. It doesn't, it doesn't mean anything in crypto.
It just blows my mind, not to cut you off. It just blows my mind when you just said that, number 7. I was thinking it was 10, 7, whatever it is, 7. It just amazes me because a lot of people that are new to crypto, they're going to, of course, hear of Bitcoin. They're going to find out about Ethereum and stuff like that. And they're going to be looking at that top 10, that top 50, that top 100. And for HEX not to be there, it kind of like, everyone knows to go to CoinMarketCap. When you're new, that's where they kind of point you in that direction. And when you don't see it on there, you're kind of like, you're losing people, in my opinion. Like, this could even be a bigger market cap if it was listed properly.
There's a lawsuit with the Hexican community to a class action lawsuit against CZ, Binance, the whole group. They're all named in the state. It's actually a district. It's actually the state of Arizona. So they've been cited, and eventually they're going to have to show up, right? But it's I mean, this is classic gatekeeping. I mean, they shove margin trading down your throat to get you wrecked because they make fees, because they get, CoinMarketCap gets paid from these devs and these, other projects on all these other chains,
right,
to list them up at the, and Hex isn't owned by anyone. It's not, there's no marketing budget that Hex has, that, there's no control of Hex. There's no, dev team. Many, like, those devs are done. They built Hex, it's done. It's over. Like, yeah, Richard is the founder, but he doesn't control it. He can't turn it off. He can't stop it. There's no one paying CZ or Binance to get Hex to the top. And there's no one, even who, like, people wouldn't even like pay CZ anyway, even if we that would never happen, like, from the community. You know what I mean?
right, yeah.
So that's why there's a lawsuit. And, there's anyone who has Hex, I want to say can submit their information or something. I have to find out a little more details, but yeah, I mean, that the truth always comes out, and it will come out eventually. You know what I mean? But right now, the bigger problem is the Ethereum gas fees. That's what's killing Hex. That's the only Hex had 2 security audits,
Right.
and the only vulnerability that was found was the Ethereum gas. And so that's why Richard's forking Ethereum and releasing Pulsechain and giving everyone a free copy.
Huh. So yeah, this is kind of funny. I can't believe that I never actually been to the real Hex. Shame on me for not being to the real Twitter Hex. I mean, I followed other people in the Hex community, like a bunch of people recently, but so what are they going to do? I mean, I know there's an issue with the gas fees with Ethereum for a lot of, projects and the NFTs and just everything being so high. What is the workaround with that? As far as, is that with the Pulse chain? I mean, how does Hex deal with the Ethereum gas fees?
Well, everyone that has Hex right now and any other ERC20 token that's on the Ethereum blockchain, which is over 10,000, as long as they have them in a MetaMask or hardware wallet, Trezor device, a non-custodial wallet where you actually own the keys, so you have a seed phrase, they will all be getting a copy of every ERC20 token
right
on the Pulse chain as a PRC20. And if you have Hex and you have T-shares, those get copied over as well. And Pulse chain's fees are, I went onto the testnet and I sent Pulse from one wallet to another. Cost me 0.000029, 4 zeros 29. Versus right now, you go to send an ERC20 from one wallet to another, it might be $4 or $5. It might be $20. It might be $30 when the GUI is really high. Just to send your crypto from one wallet to the other.
I know, it's ridiculous.
So Pulse chain, you're going to have, fees that are fractions of a penny, and you're going to be able to do an enormous amount of crypto, move assets around, swap assets for other, swap PRCs for other coins. You're going to be able to bridge in your Ethereum assets. So you'll have a, wrapped EHEX on the Pulse chain, which will have value. And there will be a liquidity pool set up so people can bridge in their value from the Ethereum blockchain through the bridge, which also is, has no admin keys. It's a smart contract on its own, where you won't be able to turn it off. You won't be able to stop it. It's, completely decentralized. No one runs it. There's no off switch. And that's, that's the beauty of everything. And then, of course, the DEX, the decentralized exchange being PulseX, is where all the liquidity is going to be. It's going to be the most liquid AMM, automated market maker bot, out there. And so what does that mean, liquid? It means that, you're going to have pairs between everything, and all of that liquidity is going to get stuck in there on day one because we're sucking it over from the Ethereum blockchain and we're sticking it all into PulseX. I say we, but the guys who are yield farmers, the guys who know what's going on, the guys who have serious bags, the people who really know what's up in crypto, they know what's going on, and they see Pulse chain as a derivative play, because for them as a liquidity provider, yeah, they have their ERC20 tokens today, but they're getting their PRC20 copy for free. So 50% of their asset is being given to them for free. So it's an incentive for them to bond their ERC20 and their PRC20 in a liquidity pool, because, half of their asset is free. So it's a much lower risk, and it's a great opportunity for those guys. And they get to earn fees and earn yield, by doing so, right? And so that's why everything's that's why we're all so freaking excited right now, because nothing like this has ever been done before.
No, it's not like anything else that I've heard of in crypto. It's very, very unique. Like I can't think of another product or project that is similar to Hex. I just can't, think of one. I know you like to compare yourself in a positive light that you're better than Bitcoin, but I can't think of anything that's like similar. And for those of you that just joined us, welcome. We are talking here with KryptoKEEF, and he is a big Hexican. He's a big member of the Hexican community. He likes to talk about Hex a lot. Guys, go ahead and follow him. He's over here at KryptoKEEF at Murder Sauce. So I have his Twitter page right up on here if you guys want to follow KryptoKEEF. And we appreciate you coming on. What else would you like to address? And it's too bad. I don't know what happened to Max. I think his connection is just so bad that he can't get back on. But what's like the big thing for what's like the hardest concept for people to understand about Hex? Like if you're talking to somebody like a neighbor, say you're talking to your neighbor and they don't even know anything about crypto, what's like the biggest barrier as far as getting someone involved, like in a conversation? Like where's the roadblock for them usually when it comes to explaining Hex?
Honestly, I mean, it starts with the fact that right now everyone's getting smoked.
Right.
Stock market's tank, roasted. Crypto roasted. 90% of crypto is a scam. Right. And when you even say crypto, people are like, I don't know. It's fake. It's made up. It's not real. And it's like, you really have to kind of take a step back and try to explain, because most people don't know what money is. They don't know how money works. And if you don't know how money works, you'll never, then you won't understand crypto at all. It's just, a digital ledger system, an internet ledger system, which is the same thing the paper-based system does today. Crypto just does it better because it's, it's transparent. It's on chain. You can see it's pseudonymous. So, there's no name and date of birth and social, but you can go in and see any wallet. You can see what the transactions, where things were sent to and from. So it's much more, transparent. I'm not going to say efficient yet, because it is, like what I think Richard says, like crypto right now is just basically the world's most expensive, slowest financial network. But it's stronger. The code is better. And you don't have the same type of negative externalities that you do with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, your bank, all these different banks, your merchant processor at the grocery store, the gas station. You got all these systems and all these different companies doing this with your money all the time.
Yeah.
And so, our fake made up internet money is better than the government's fake made up internet money. You know what I mean? Like that's what it boils down to, right?
For sure. Yeah.
And it is hard to try to explain to people how this all works and what the benefit is. I've shilled my people, and the ones who were ready, they listened to me and they sacrificed for Pulse, and they sacrificed for PulseX, and they bought Hex and they staked it. You know what I mean? Because they're like, hell yeah, I like what you're saying. This is great. I'm in. I don't even know all about it, but I trust you and I like what you're saying about it. You're excited about it. And I'm like, that's cool. Great. And then I tell other people about it and they laugh. And, they're like, oh, crypto, what an idiot. Oh. And then I'm like, oh yeah, look at the stock market. How you doing today, buddy? Like,
yeah. Everything is down. Everything's just getting crushed. Right now
it's tough right now.
Doesn't matter what you're in.
Right. And also, Hex is a little expensive to get into right now, like for your average Joe person that, they only have a couple, maybe a couple $100 or less.
Right.
If you think about all the processes you got to go through, you got to get your Coinbase, you got to buy USDC. There's a fee with that. Then you got to send your USDC to your MetaMask. There's a fee with that. Then you have to connect your MetaMask to Uniswap for a fee. And then you have to pay another little fee for them to have approval. You have to approve the contract. Uniswap has to have approval to your Hex. There's a fee for that. Then you have to swap your USDC for Hex, which is a fee. And then now you have your liquid Hex, right? Well, then you got to go to stake it. Well, there's another fee for that. You know what I mean? Right. So it's just, out of your $200, you're going to pay, you know, $100-something in fees, more, maybe more, $150 in fees. You know, like $50 you're putting it. It's not going to work, you know. And so that's why Richard's forking Ethereum and creating Pulsechain, because the fees are going to be so low.
Because of the fees,
network's faster. The fees are cheap. It's faster throughput, meaning that Ethereum has an average throughput right now of about 13 seconds, but that's what we say. In reality, you know, it could be 2 minutes while you're waiting on your transaction. It's not always lickety split, right? It's more like, you know, 30 seconds to a minute, or maybe 7 or 8 minutes. Sometimes you're waiting a while, you know, versus Pulsechain has a 3-second throughput. So those transactions are lightning fast. I mean, when I was sending test pulse from one wallet to another, I couldn't even switch over to my tab, the other browser tab, to go to my other MetaMask, and it was already done. Like the transaction was there. I couldn't even like switch over fast enough to see it. I was like, oh my God, this is great. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
It's also deflationary. Pulsechain will start with a total minted supply forever, permanently. It's about 100. It's going to be about 140 or so trillion total Pulse tokens that will ever exist. And Pulsechain, every time you send or buy or swap or whatever, 0.025% of every transaction will burn away a portion of the total supply of Pulsechain. So you have a deflationary element with a cap supply that burns the fees over time, which reduces the total supply, which causes the price to go up, right? You have, you know, limited finite amount of pulse. You have an infinite demand. When those two cross and intersect, that's how you get extreme price appreciation. That's what you want. And there's never been a deflationary blockchain, right? And the only way it is deflationary is because that minted supply will see it's going to be locked. It will not be available. 140 or 130 trillion, let's just call it 130 trillion, basically are going to be locked. No one's going to have access to it. And then the other 10 trillion, you know, roughly 9 trillion is going to the sacrifice set. Those are the guys who sacrificed. So those guys will get pulse. And then the other 1 trillion or so, you know, goes to a dev wallet. You know, founders got to get paid too, right? And it also encourages, you know, future projects and future development, right, on chain. And so, you know, and then the very small, tiny amount after that will be available on day one. You know, a very, very small, tiny amount, and that'll get gobbled up quick. So who's gonna be able to buy Pulse? Where are you gonna buy the Pulse? You're gonna have to buy it from somebody who sacrificed. You're not gonna be able to get it from the OA wallet, you know. So it's just, you know, that's how you control a deflationary. That's how you create that deflationary element. Yeah, it's just exciting, man, because the fees are cheap. It's deflationary. It's proof of stake, which is what ETH 2.0 wants to be. So we're just beating them to market, and the code's better, and it's more efficient, and you know it's going to be cheaper for everyone to use. Now it's not necessarily going to be cheap to buy Pulse. Richard said that in a live. He's like, I don't understand why people think Pulsechain is going to be cheap. It's going to be cheap to transact on the network. It's not going to cost you anything to do transactions, but in order to buy it and market buy it, I loved when he said that, because I was like, oh my God, what if Pulsechain launches at, you know, a couple pennies? Like, what if it goes to 30 cents right away? I mean, obviously there'll be a huge dip, but no one knows what the prices are going to be of any of this. Like, we have no idea. None of this has ever happened before. You've got a fork of Ethereum, proof of stake network, deflationary, fee burning, with 300,000 wallets that are day one ready to buy, swap, send, transact. So you don't have a ghost chain, right, that no one builds on. You have right now 200 different Ethereum developers, different projects that are actively building on the Pulse chain right now, you know, getting ready to launch. So bringing over an entire system state copy, all the ERC20s are getting copied over, bringing all the Ethereum block history is being brought over as well to Pulsechain. So all the transaction history, all of the wallet history, all of the, you know, all those blocks from way back in 2014, 15, whenever Ethereum kicked off, I think it was 15. That's all being brought over. That's never been done before.
No, it hasn't. No, it's amazing. Let me ask you this, and I don't know if you've, and forgive me if you've already covered this, because I know you've gotten into a lot this show and the last time you were here, and we appreciate you coming on again. The 50% you said, the penalty, which you would expect there always is going to be a penalty if you withdraw early from the staking. Do you know what happens? And I'm not going to hold you on the spot if you don't know the answer. Do you know what happens to the 50%? Like, where does that penalty go to? Does it get burned?
Staker class. No, it gets rewarded to the rest of the stakers.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
So
it gets
old, the people who are truthful to the truth engine, you know, and they commit to their term,
right?
They get rewarded with the folks who nuke their stakes.
Oh, okay.
That hex goes to this. That is what increases the APY for everyone.
Right. Okay.
So it doesn't get burned. Sense. It gets rewarded to the staker class. So
that's
again,
good.
Another incentive to stake your hex, right?
Exactly.
Earn your yield, get your 38%, delay gratification, keep your weak paper hands off of selling hex, and wait until that term's over. And more than likely, there will be people who will end their stake early. They'll get penalized. They'll lose half their bag, and you will get rewarded with that. So it's, you know, it's a win-win.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I actually like that better than the burning. I was trying to figure out like where it went to, like, did it get burned or what? But now thanks for clearing that up for me. So I know you've had a long, rough day here, and we have some kind of connection issues on my end here. Let's just look at some of the comments here.
Yeah.
I think we'll wrap up maybe in about 5 minutes just to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So Pulsechain, I think you might know him. Pulsechain Jack Clapp. He says, do you know him? Okay,
I don't know him personally, but I like that he's got 3 of those for. Yeah, shout out to Trap Gravity. He's my dude out there.
We do know Trap Gravity. Yeah, he's a friend of the show. Yep.
Yeah, 44,000 wallets are the only individuals, wallets, people, whatever you want to call them, that are getting Pulse. The rest of it won't be available. And then 3 of those 44,000 wallets, best ways to earn on Pulsechain without selling. Just hold. I mean, there's this whole like, delegate, you know, stake your Pulse and with a validator and earn yield, earn, you know, the fees. It's so minimal that like you maybe at some point one day might be earning maybe 1 Pulse or something a day. And that's like way down the road. And that's not, you know, your best bet with ways to earn on Pulsechain without selling. You know, there's really not much other than put those freaking tokens in a wallet and let them rot for 2 years. Let them sit in there and don't touch them for 2 to 5 years, and you will be worth millions of dollars, especially if you sacrificed. If you didn't sacrifice, you'll be able to market by day one, because there will be people who sacrifice that will sell their bags. And so there will be available Pulse in the market. And, you know, you just DCA your way into Pulsechain for the first year.
That's kind of my plan, is to dollar cost average in. Yeah, today was my second purchase, but my only bag that I have right now, and I'm planning on dollar cost averaging in. That's kind of my thought. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So that's going to be your best bet. There's also a lot of, opportunity with PulseX, with the single-sided staking pools. There's liquidity providing, which is highly risky. I don't necessarily recommend, you know, I would say do a lot of research on it. I'm not going to be providing any liquidity because I can't afford impermanent loss. I can't afford to lose my bag like that. I probably will have a lot of, have a lot of PulseX, but that I'd rather just do a single-sided stake and, you know, earn my yield from PulseX, and then eventually I'll sell some of that yield that I generate. I won't sell my Genesis tokens. I'll sell the yield from staking PulseX. And that'll be, you know, me pulling profits at some point. God knows when that'll be. You know, unless something absolutely parabolic crazy happens where PulseX goes to $1, then I'm just like, all right. At that point, like, I'll sell 5% of my bag and I'll set myself up for the next 20 years and I won't have to touch anything. You know what I mean?
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I'll read a couple of these comments here. We appreciate you guys being here tonight with us. Pulsechainer says, keep the episode going like a seamless train. Pulsechain is the sunshine, is the season of rain.
Okay. Hell yeah, Pulsechainer. Hell yeah.
And he says, I think I heard Richard Hart, the god, say we can stake our Pulsechain in PulseX for PulseX rewards. If you want to respond to that.
I don't know about that. There's an incentive token that you can earn if you're providing liquidity with PulseX paired to other or if you're using your PRC20s and you're pairing them with the ERC20s, you can earn the incentive token through the liquidity providing and the yield farming. But I don't know about the staking Pulse through PulseX. I'm not 100% on that. I would have to defer to someone else. I don't think that's 100% right. And if it is, that's kind of cool. But I don't remember seeing any of that or hearing much about that. So.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I'll let you have, I know you've talked a lot, Keith, and I appreciate KryptoKEEF, your time. If you just want to just say goodbye to everybody or wrap things up. And if you want to come back next week, you're welcome to come back. If you want to come back next Thursday, if you want to bring in some more Hexicans, we'd love to hear from other people that are in Hex and get different perspectives on it. And, I want to kind of try to get more involved with the community. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you guys as always. Having me on, and shout out to the chat out there, all y'all nice folks. Just buy and stake Hex before the fork. Get your copy. I buy Hex, get your T-shares first, then buy some more liquid Hex and just hold the liquid through the fork, so you can have liquid Hex on Pulse Chain, so you can start building out your staking ladders on that side. Shout out to Selmo
Fudd. Yeah, he's a regular here. Yep.
Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome.
So yeah,
don't miss Hex, man. We're very early on all this. You guys are early.
Yeah, we definitely have some people that are used to some different things. Trap is back here. Yeah, Trap, you can always come on if you want to come on next time. But yeah, we've had different people that are involved in different projects and different investments. And they've actually, since watching you last time, I know I've got messages from 3 of them. So they're new Hexicans too. Nice. So that's kind of cool. So so thanks guys. Hoping for more Larry and Hexico collabs. Yes, we are going to do that.
Shout out to Pulsechainer. He set all this up. He's been
doing work behind the scenes. I forgot about that. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Pulsechainer. That's right. That's how we came together, was through your connection.
Yeah, man. Awesome. Absolutely. So shout to those guys too. And man, look, I keep up everything, happy to get on a round table with some of the guys that are, y'all are been talking to that have been getting into Hex. We can go through and, explain, if we want, we can go in and go to go.hex.com and show you guys how to stake and how to actually do it.
That would be great. Yeah.
That's a pretty easy way. It's a great front end to use. I'm going to learn how to do it on chain, meaning like I don't use any front end. I just go right to the contract address on Etherscan,
right,
and stake the Hex through there, which I don't know how to do, but I want to learn because that's really important. So if you think about it, in 15 years, who knows if go.hex.com will still be up, or who knows if staker.app will still be around, or, there's another one I should probably know the name of, stake hex.today. Oh no, App Hex Win. App Hex Win is another front end. But learning how to actually do it on chain and interact with the contract address directly is like, that got brought up in a space that I hosted last night. And I was like, oh, duh. I mean, obviously I should have known you could totally do that, but I had no idea. I was like, oh, just go to hex.com, or I just, use Staker app, whatever. And those are front ends. They can go down eventually. And then what? What are you going to do? How are you going to get your money out? How are you going to end your stake? How are you going to claim that newly minted Hex, right? So it's probably pretty important for people to know how. I mean, the potential of all of these front ends going down and then no new ones replacing them is very low. But it's probably still a good tool to have in your tool chest to understand,
Well, this is great. Again, we appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry that Max's connection got rugged, but we'll have you come on next week if you want. Bring everybody that you can with you.
Yeah.
Whether they're new to Hex or they're, an expert with Hex, we'd love to hear from everybody. And I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Take care, y'all.